So the final game of the English League season, Wembley bathed in early summer sunshine for the climax of the campaign, the chance to end the season on a high, to leave for summer holidays on a high, dreaming of new challenges ahead. For the loser, desolation and the same old on the agenda for 2018-19. Exeter know that feeling well. They were here a year ago today, only to concede early and lose to Blackpool. Now a second chance to seal promotion and return to League One after a 6-year absence. Coventry's fans found the way to Wembley easily enough too. Victorious in the Checkatrade Trophy last season, and jubilation more than diluted by the relegation that soon followed. Not that heartache was anything new for Coventry fans. Premier League perennials for a generation. The last decade's been punctuated by ownership battles, exile from the city, and 3 relegations. Only Sky Blues fans in their 50s or more have experience of winning promotion. But will the club that has hit rock bottom be able to take an appreciable step back today? The League Two playoff final holds the key, and it's moments away.
There will be triumphs and there will be heartbreak. The euphoria of promotion and the despair of relegation. The end of the season is approaching, and the dedicated Sky Sports football channel will bring you the climax of the EFL season, including the playoffs live, plus the end of the Spanish La Liga Season 2. And don't miss the dedicated Football League roundup show, EFL Matters, every Thursday night. Plus watch live action goals and highlights on your phone with our improved Sky Sports app. Find out more at skysports.com.
Exeter City line-up with Christy Pym in goal, Sweeney, Story, Moore, Taylor and Woodman the back 4, Taylor, Tilson, Boateng, Harley and Moxey in midfield, with Stockley up front. 3 of the side born in Exeter, another just up the road in Tiverton. 5 products of the academy in the team. Coventry City also featuring local boys. Lee Burge amongst them in goal, Grimmer, Willis, Hyam and Stokes the back 4, Bayliss, Kelly, Doyle and Shipley in midfield, McNulty and Beermoo up front. On the bench for Exeter is James, Archibald, Henville, Simpson, Jay, Wilson, Edwards and Jones. For Coventry, McDonald, Maguire, Drew, Clark, Harris, Reed, Thompson, Ponticelli and O'Brien. The referee, David Webb, who has a reputation for being one of the best in the lower 2 divisions, and he sent off 3 players in the last 12 months. So 46 games down, 2 legs of a semi-final down. The task, just make sure you don't stay down. A match high on intrigue, high on pressure, with the undercurrent of the potential of a managerial goodbye as well. It's Coventry City against Exeter. Coventry in sky blue shirts with white stripes, very reminiscent of that kit they wore for the 1987 FA Cup final, which they won. Exeter in their traditional red and white striped shirts with black shorts. The first long ball played for from the back from Coventry is repelled by the Exeter back line. Stockley tries to work it back through the midfield for Harley, but it would be cleared easily up the right hand side by Coventry. Brought down in the midfield by McNulty. First opportunity for him to try and take on the Exeter back line. He's got towards the byline and he's won a corner inside 25 seconds. Matt Taylor.
Yeah, no, really good play there. You see what McNulty is all about, and he has started the game on fire and ultimately won his side a corner within the first 35 seconds of this match.
So the first set piece opportunity, which is going to be a left-footed in-swinging delivery. Hyam waits at the back post. There's plenty of movement in towards the near post where Grimmer attacked it. It was easily cleared out as far as halfway, where it'll be picked up by Stokes, the Coventry left back, and played back by him to the experienced Mickey Doyle. Doyle in his 5th playoff campaign in 7 seasons, but he hasn't won one yet. He plays the ball out towards the right-hand side. Long ball launch forward into the Exeter penalty area is easily picked up by Christy Pym, their goalkeeper. We played a minute on TalkSport 2, and it's Exeter 0, Coventry 0.
I'm just looking at the benches. 2 very vastly experienced managers there. One in a tracksuit, the other kitted out as if he's going to a wedding. Paul Tisdale, shades on the lot, the coolest man in the stadium. Fantastic to see.
That deal he's got with Ted Baker has done him a lot of favours over the years, hasn't it? It's a throw which will be taken by his Exeter City side on the right touchline. It's an opportunity for Moxey to prepare to launch along one inside the penalty area. And he just stands on the right-hand touchline, flicked off by Stockley. Boateng will chase. And shanks his intended cross straight behind the goal. Now to play for a goal kick, which will be taken away to the right-hand side by Lee Burge. Coventry hoping for their first promotion since 1967, coming into the game in good form, particularly away from home. They scored 6 at Cheltenham and 4 at Notts County in their last away games. Ball cleared from our right-hand side by Burge. A long one for Beermu, tried to go up for it, was easily beaten in the air by Story. That's an important battle. Story then wins again, this time against McNulty. Boateng just cushions a header down the right-hand touchline, where it would be played for by Taylor for Exeter. Boateng then chases after it. High ball back from Stokes, and then a little push. A cynical little push just inside the Exeter half. It was Sweeney that just nudged into Mark McNulty, and the free kick is given Coventry's way. They've taken it quickly as well. Worked out towards the left-hand side for Shipley, who was expecting quicker movement off the ball from McNulty, and the ball goes through for Christy Pym.
Yeah, no, just during a breakdown in communication. You see Doyle get on the ball there, he spots it on the free kick and plays straight into feet there. I think that's the way the game's going. Every long ball that's been played forward at the moment has run through to the opposing goalkeeper. Both of these teams want to get it on the floor.
Well, the two sides met earlier this season. Exeter beat Coventry by a goal to nil. It was Ryan Harley that scored an early winner in that game back in January. Coventry having beaten Exeter 2-0 when the two sides met back in September. It's the Sky Blues in possession over on the far touchline, which is their right. They're kicking from right to left as we look at it here at Wembley, with just a little bit of cloud cover now for the first time this afternoon. The players will be very grateful for that. It's been searing heat, a very heavy day in terms of the weather. Moxey, with plenty of experience, including Premier League experience with Crystal Palace, just lays it back through the midfield. Down it comes down towards the right-hand side for the Irishman, Piers Sweeney. His ball forward, chased by Taylor, and put out of play by Stokes for a throw which will be taken on the Exeter right. 4 gone on TalkSport 2, Coventry 0, Exeter 0.
Interesting how we see two different styles of play between the two teams today compared to yesterday. You know, I called it a war of attrition for the game, but these aren't that type of team. This is definitely a couple of teams who like to get the ball down and play, but if they do cancel each other out, how important a set play is going to be in today's game.
Goal kick will be taken by Burge, away to our right hand side for Coventry. It's their first season down in League 2. Mark Robbins with so much experience in terms of the playoffs as well as a player. He won the Championship playoff final with Leicester more than 20 years or so ago now, back in 1996. Here's Shipley chipping it forward towards McNulty on the edge of the penalty area. Knocked away easily by Story. And then Jayden Stockley, the big barrel-chested blonde-haired striker, will chase after it for Exeter. One back by Doyle in the midfield, so combative, he and Kelly. And they've done well to regain possession for Coventry. Will be able to bring the ball forward with Stokes looking long. Little header down was well directed, and McNulty with a snapshot from distance. It was Beermu just headed it back into his path, and it set up nicely for McNulty. Best part of 30 yards out, and he hit a looping effort on the half volley, but it went over the bar.
That's the combination that Coventry have been looking at so much this season. Those two, Beermu and McNulty. Ball played up from Stokes, the left back, into Beermu, headed it down. The confidence McNulty shows on this stage to hit a volley from nigh on 30 yards, and it just dips over. I think that just shows you how important these two players are for Coventry up top.
28 goals he scored this season in 51 games, an outstanding return. As Exeter bring the ball forward now, there was suspicion of a push around the edge of the penalty area. And Taylor tried to make ground down the right-hand side, stopped it going out of play for a goal kick, and cleverly wins a throw, which the Grecians will take down by the corner flag on their near touchline, their right. And it will be Taylor to take it. He's got Sweeney in support for him. He's thrown it towards Boateng, who made a darting run inside the penalty area. Coventry get it away, and they will do it all again with another throw, which Jake Taylor will take on the Exeter right-hand side. This one in a slightly deeper position, only still about 10-12 yards from that corner flag. Again, he's looked for Iran Boateng, but as it came back to Boateng after the initial ball had gone back for Taylor, Boateng gets flagged offside. Free kick which will be taken in the left back position. I think both managers will be pretty pleased with the way that the opening exchanges have gone. Now the goalkeeper's had a save to make in the opening 7 minutes. Exeter dominating possession, Coventry with a one-half chance we've seen.
And I think it's interestingly, from where we stood here, who's the most dominant of the midfield three for Exeter. You know, what we're seeing is Hiram Boateng being the more advanced of the three, joining in with the front man Stockley, you know, and it's going to be him who's going to be the one who's going to try and get as close to him as possible and try and overpower that two-man midfield for Coventry, because they're two dogs in there and they're technicians in the midfield for Exeter.
Shipley works it back for Stokes, and then Shipley again can chip it inside the penalty area. Biamu on the corner of the 6-yard box. The ball drift across his shoulder, hoping to work an angle for a shot, but the ball evaded him. Goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Christy Pym. Exeter finished the season with 5 wins in the last 9 games, 4 points behind the top 3. They spent a lot of the season in that automatic promotion spot. At one stage they were 8 points clear of 4th place after just 8 games of the season, but they then took only 7 points in the next 7 games, and as a consequence began to lose their way. Haven't been in the top 3 since mid-December, but that's all academic if they can get the job done here this afternoon. Harley chasing towards the edge of the D's, taking a very advanced role in the early stages up alongside Stockley. Ball has been played out towards Woodman. Woodman, the former Bristol City and Torquay defender, just lays it back to Taylor, the Exeter captain, with more than 180 games for his hometown club behind him, and he flights it forward this time towards Stockley, but he's offside, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Coventry at 5-6 yards outside their own penalty area. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. We played 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, the game in the last couple of minutes is kind of evens itself out, I think. If you take the way that we thought Exeter would start, they've played a few more long balls up to Stockley, and that time the ball was played up to him too quickly and he wasn't able to get himself back on side. But it's very evenly matched at the moment.
I think the difference between Exeter last year and this year is the centre forward Stockley. It gives them a real honest plan B. You know, last year probably there would be an assumption that Exeter could only go through the thirds on the floor and play this silky type of football that they're either successful with or they're not. But the big man at the top definitely alters things.
Well, we're 9 minutes in. You can hear a rapturous applause, ovation from both sets of supporters for 2 wonderful number 9s, both of whom unfortunately no longer with us. Cyril Regis being remembered by the Coventry fans, and also Adam Stansfield by the Exeter supporters. Number 9 shirt of Exeter retired in Adam's memory and lost his battle for life at the age of just 31 a few years ago, and it's a great sight to see over on the far touchline. In the upper tier of the Exeter allocation there is a massive Exeter shirt with Stansfield 9 on it, covering, literally no exaggeration, the best part of 300 seats, that shirt. Adam's presence very much remembered here today. 0-0 the scoreline, and Biamu has the ball, played it back to the edge of the penalty area where it's played off round the corner. Stokes looking for Bayliss. Hasn't really been able to influence the game so much in the early stages. Gone out of play for a throw which will be taken by Sweeney, the Exeter City right back, with 10 minutes gone at 0-0. We're talking about Jaden Stockley. His season actually started in a Europa League tie in Bosnia-Herzegovina back in July. He's been going some 46 weeks this campaign. Finishes it in Wembley sunshine, but would he finish it on the winning side? He's had a fantastic campaign with 25 goals in 47 games in his return to Exeter this season. He had a loan spell from Bournemouth earlier in his career. Ball's back with Burge, who clears left-footed from the edge of his own penalty area. It's launched long through the middle, flicked on by Biamu, brought down under control neatly enough by Taylor. And then as it's fired forward long by Christy Pym, Stockley again knew that he was retreating from an offside position, couldn't play the ball, and it goes over the Coventry back line, and Stokes will run round it, pick it up, and now will try and get Coventry going again. Still almost a sense that this is the phony war, really, with 11 minutes gone at 0-0, with neither side able really to play their hand in the opening stages. Woodman defending has won a free kick over on the far touchline. Just threatened to let Biamu get in behind him, but the wily veteran fullback just felt contact from the Coventry striker, went to ground, and it's a free kick which will be taken by the Exeter keeper, Christy Penn.
You know, the ball played round the corner there, and I think that having played against Coventry this season, the two central midfielders in Kelly and Doyle, they do like to turn the ball over around the corner where the fullbacks have vacated the space for Exeter, and Biamu ran in there and unfortunately just couldn't get on it. But I think that'll be a feature for Coventry because it's a definite strength of theirs.
Those are the thoughts of Matt Taylor, who played his football this season for Swindon. Sean Derry with us, the former Cambridge manager. Coventry in possession here. Expect Doyle and Kelly to see so much of the ball in the engine room for the Sky Blues today. They're on it again. Played out towards the left-hand side for Shipley, back for Stokes, and then as Stokes sends a high one forward, Shipley's shoulders just dropped for a moment. Not the afternoon to chase lost causes, and it rolls through towards the Exeter goalkeeper, Pym. Well, we talked about the conditions at length, but there's no overstating it really. It's like a greenhouse where we are. Breaking sweat. You two gentlemen much fitter than I am, it has to be said, and thankful for the pair of you that you are. But for those that are sticking the hard yards in out on the field, there will be no chasing of lost causes today. There is simply no point.
You're absolutely right, Jim, and I think what we've seen in this opening 12-13 minutes are two teams that are just going to play a little percentage game. You know, we spoke about that one particular person who doesn't want to make that costly error so soon in this game. So it's quite a unique way of watching these two, because generally they do like an expansive pitch to play on, but the distances between both the centre halves for both the teams and the centre forwards, there's probably, you can throw a blanket over about 45 yards, and that's what we've seen. And until it opens up, I don't see you'll see a true reflection of both teams.
Moore Taylor gets it away at the heart of the Exeter defence. Boateng sticks his foot in. It's brought down neatly by Tilson, son of the Exeter coach Andy Tilson, former Queen's Park Rangers player who has experience in winning a playoff final himself with Walsall back in the day. And Exeter try and regain possession with Harley. It's worked over the top though by Coventry. Quick release for McNulty, and it's an excellent challenge on him. There's no room for error for Story, but he slid it inside the penalty area. The first chance McNulty has got to turn that Exeter back line, and it was just a relatively routine ball over the top, but Jordan Story's covering was impeccable.
Fantastic defending. McNulty had an opportunity as he was bearing down on goal, just entering the inside of the box from about 18 yards out to hit it, but thought about taking another touch and just gave Story enough time there to get back and make an exceptional tackle. It had to be timed perfectly, and it was.
It was a great run by McNulty, and that's what we've seen at numerous times throughout this season. Him coming short and then switching and playing in behind, and it was a good little ball over the top, a standard ball over the top, but he's caught the two centre halves for Exeter a little bit on the toes, and it was a fantastic opportunity. I think the pitch got caught up a little bit as well, but it's the first opening that we've seen in this game.
It was a good moment for Story, who's the least experienced of all of the players on the field today. It's only the 18th senior game of his career, keeping the much more experienced Troy Archibald Henville out of the Exeter team at the moment. Here's Stockley, Harley in his third spell with Exeter, and back through the midfield. They will retain possession with Taylor, and back he goes for Story again, the taller of the two centre halves. A very wiry, dark-haired player, finds the slightly shorter Moore Taylor to his left-hand side, and the Exeter captain can bring it away and plays it out towards Woodman. Woodman's ball forward for the blonde-haired Dean Moxey, back at his hometown club again. Back from him to Woodman. Woodman to Moore Taylor. Long diagonal ball from him, but it was overhit for Jake Taylor. Goes out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Coventry left-hand side. 16 minutes gone here on TalkSport 2, and it remains Coventry City 0, Exeter City 0 in the League 2 playoff final.
It's interesting there. You see a centre half for Exeter, Moore Taylor just got the ball, and we've not seen that big switch too often in today's game, but it was the response of Hiram Boateng. He's saying, give it me to my feet. I'm the big, strong, athletic midfielder in the camp, and he fancies himself going past these two centre midfielders for Coventry.
Boateng, another with playoff final experience. He was in the Plymouth side that was beaten a couple of years ago when he was on loan at Home Park from Palace. It's doing his best to try and exert an influence on the game, but it's the Exeter back line who are going to be called into question here, because Biamu's won a free kick, which will be taken on the Coventry left, a couple of yards in from the left-hand touchline, and probably 12-15 yards or so into Exeter territory. And Shipley and Doyle are the two players who are standing over it. Kelly retrieves the loose ball in the midfield, and then immediately backpedaled quickly, offering himself as a passing option, and that is a route that Doyle takes. Kelly now from a different angle can chip a straight ball forward. Moxie backpedaling, heads it away well. Back it goes through the midfield, out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area, where Grimmer is still forward for Coventry. Tries to get a cross-come shot in on the turn, it's hit Woodman. Bounces back down for Kelly. Back from him to Doyle. To Liam Kelly again. Kelly's ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Bayliss with the tricky feet has done really well. Sets it up for Grimmer. Just forced him slightly wider than he wanted to go, Jack Grimmer, the Coventry right back. He's run round it and retained possession. Lays it back for Kelly. Doyle again, hardly misplacing a pass. Finding McNulty. Back it goes for Doyle. Probing once more, very patiently. About 15 yards outside the Exeter penalty area. Back from him to Shipley. Shipley to Doyle to Kelly. Then Dominic Hyam to Jordan Willis. It's Coventry's skipper when they won the Checker Trade Trophy here at Wembley last season, beating Oxford in the final. Still Coventry in possession, probably strung 20 passes together in this move, maybe more than that, as it comes down towards Stokes, right in front of the Exeter technical area. Stokes ball forward, Doyle, now McNulty, well outside the penalty area, set up again for McNulty. That's the first shot on target of the afternoon. It was comfortably claimed by Pym, just had to put his weight down to his right hand side and bring it into his body, but it was an excellent little layoff from Bayliss into his path. McNulty's beginning to get into the game now.
He, as you can see, his confidence growing, but that was a sequence of probably 30 passes there that Coventry put together before eventually McNulty had the shot. Exeter, if they are going to sit in and allow Coventry the space and time to play and keep recycling possession through Doyle, then they must lock hold of the two front players there, because McNulty occupies positions that centre-halves can't pick up. He drops into those spaces and he's shot from all of 20 yards there, and unfortunately a comfortable save.
Well, TalkSport 2's teamed up with Sky Sports to tell you about the dedicated Sky Sports football channel with football from around the globe, including the EFL, SPFL and more. Find it all in 2018 with Sky Sports. Coventry on the attack, McNulty. It's Shipley, right-footed effort, took a deflection and goes wide. And then there's a real inquest between Pym and one of his defenders. I think it's Moore Taylor, after the ball was cheaply given away in the midfield, which led to the chance. And the pair of them didn't quite square up to each other. There was plenty of finger pointing going on and some very angry words. It is a Coventry corner and no more. It could have been more because it was a 24-carat defensive error.
Well, it was, and it's led to a corner, and this is a danger zone now for Exeter because they've brought them on this problem on themselves, Jim.
Corner will be taken from the right flank. It's half cleared. Hyam goes up for it. Harley then can calm things down on the edge of the box and put it out of play for a throw.
Exeter just need to calm down slightly here. I understand that tensions are running high, but the reason that Coventry got the opportunity there is we spoke about the heat. We spoke about players maybe not running 30 or 40 yards. McNulty has sprinted there, closed down. He sprinted 40 yards, closed down, won the ball back, and eventually laid the ball in for a nice strike on target.
Stokes takes the throw. Level the edge of the Exeter penalty area. It's been well won back by Tilson from Shipley, and he can then play it off Shipley and out of play for a throw. It's almost an unedifying sight, Sean, to see two teammates going at each other like that 20 minutes into a game. If you were Paul Tisdale, would you like that as a manager?
Well, if I was Paul Tisdale stood there, I'd be quite happy with that, Jim. You know, that shows a lot of passion, a lot of desire, but more so, a lot of responsibility, because Exeter did put themselves in the pressure there. Matt is right. Mark McNulty did sprint 30-40 yards, but it could have been, the error could have not happened. But interestingly for me, you know, we talk about the style and the setup of these two teams. When Coventry do have the ball from deeper positions, these Exeter boys, they just drop. They're happy to have their defensive line on the edge of the 18-yard box. They're going to put 5 in front, and they're going to stop them wide players for Coventry coming from out to in, which is their desire of causing problems.
Harley chests the ball down on the edge of the penalty area. He's played it back out towards the right-hand touchline for Moxie, who swapped flanks for a moment with Taylor. He's now over on the right-hand side, Dean Moxey. Coventry have won it back. McNulty's getting through a prodigious amount of work. He's dropped off into the midfield, sets it up for Kelly, whose first thought is to play a positive ball forward for Grimmer. Grimmer's cross is just overhead away from Diamu. But that is Coventry's danger. We saw it at Meadow Lane in the second leg of the semi-final, their ability to counter-attack with pace when they can turn over possession in the centre of midfield.
No, most definitely, and Exeter turned over possession there. We're out of shape. McNulty, unfortunately, had too much ground to make up to get himself in the box as Grimmer was crossing. Slightly disappointing cross, but that just shows you how Coventry can turn their defence into attack so quickly.
I think what you've got there is, in the 4-4-2 that they're playing, the wide players they're just full of legs, full of endeavour, and they see that opportunity to get beyond the forwards, and we've just seen a 60-yard run there off the ball from Tom Bayliss, and he's going to do that all day, Jim. He's got so much energy in his game. Big threat for Exeter.
Sweeney's got the ball midway through the first half on the Exeter right. Boateng sees it cleared by Stokes before it gets to him, and McNulty has it again. If there was any worry about his mobility because of this hip injury that he picked up 10 days ago, he's certainly hiding it well. He's okay. Ball played forward by Woodman. Down to Taylor on the Exeter left-hand side. Woodman again. The Devonian turns it back to Tilson. Now Harley dropping into a deeper position will try and get on the ball. Harley can turn it back for more Taylor. It's 15 yards inside his own half. It's a long diagonal ball towards Stockley. Stockley going up for it. Moxey going up for it as well. Cleared by Hyam. Dark-haired centre half for Coventry. Now the loose ball breaks out towards McNulty again. Cov have a problem here. They've got to play it down on the edge of his own penalty area. It's Stokes, I think. And the referee has seen that. And with Coventry in possession, he's just blown to give a free kick to the Sky Blues just on the edge of their box so that treatment can be administered to Stokes.
I think that Stokes is complaining there that maybe as the ball was played diagonally up to Stockley, he led with an elbow. But what this break-in play will do, it'll allow, as we can see now down in front of us, both sets of players taking on liquid refreshment, because that's what they need with it being so hot out there. Also, both managers just will have a few points to talk to their players about. As you can see, Paul Tisdale is doing so now.
Paul will be changing into his second shape here. At 23 minutes he always comes out and he changes it slightly, and his team, more importantly, sometimes I'll make comment through jest about it, but this is what he does. This is what he does, and it becomes regular in the way that he approaches the opposition. They might start in a 4-5-1, it might turn into a 4-3-3, but them boys will understand what he wants.
Changing to the second shape. I thought you were going to say changing to his second suit, but he might well be doing that as well. Let's go down pitch side. Our reporter down there is TalkSport's Ian Abrahams.
He's looking very dapper actually in a white shirt and his slacks that compared to Mark Robbins in his tracksuit. Stokes, meanwhile, is coming across on his near side. He's got plenty of blood coming out of a little wound just above. It looks like just above his eyes. He walks past me. He'll go and get some stitches on that. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute or two. But it doesn't look too clever. By the way, this is the hottest of the 3 days of the playoff finals so far. We started on Saturday obviously at 5 o'clock, so no real comparison. Yesterday was 85.5 degrees. It is exactly down here, pitch level, 90 degrees. I will be the same sort of shape as Sean and Matt come the end of today. I'm sweating that much.
It's not warm enough for that, Moose.
So where are you watching the game from? The sun? He's gone down the tunnel and he's receiving a little bit of treatment, as Moose said, some stitches being administered just above the left eyebrow, and Exeter will be in a hurry to restart play here. Stockley, rather than kicking the ball back to goalkeeper Burge, has just kicked it straight out of play for a goal kick. It's in Exeter's interest here. Keep the ball on the island as long as possible while Coventry are down to 10 men, while Stokes is getting stitched up. But maybe that was just good sportsmanship from Stockley to waste a little bit of time on Coventry's behalf.
I mentioned about the edge that Paul Tisdale's brought into his team, and it is that boy Stockley. He's an uncompromising, old-fashioned number 9. He'll bustle and bump his way around this pitch, just like we've seen with the connection with Stokes there, and he'll make no apologies for it, Jim.
Coventry drops Shipley back in at left back in the absence of Stokes for the time being. It's played forward again, a longer ball which Willis gets away from Stockley, but Exeter win the second ball, and he plays out towards the left hand side for Moxey. Moxey back for Woodman. Woodman towards the edge of the penalty area. Willis gets it away. Now Woodman on halfway to Moore Taylor, to Story inside the centre circle. To his right hand side, it'll be just played off towards Sweeney to Taylor in towards Hiram Boateng, and now Taylor with an opportunity to run at Shipley, and he'll fancy his chance. He's got Boateng making a run for him on the overlap. It's pulled back in, left-footed in towards the edge of the penalty area. There was a coming together off the ball there involving Jake Taylor and Nicky Doyle. Referee watches both get back to their feet and takes no action. Exeter recycle it out to their left. Woodman with a long diagonal ball again in towards Stockley, all flailing arms as he goes up for it. Willis tries to get it away and can't, but Shipley can, and his long ball forward, some 50-60 yards upfield, is brought down at the back by Jordan Story for Exeter, who, as you would expect, with the temporary numerical advantage while Stokes is getting that eye wound stitched up, it's Exeter having far and away the majority of possession in what you might call a power play here. Played over the top by Sweeney, and the attempt to flick it on from Jake Taylor wins Exeter's first corner off Dominic Hyam.
It does, and it's no surprise that it comes in the left back area that Stokes is vacated and is now just coming back onto the pitch, jogging onto the pitch now to defend this incoming set play from Exeter. But one thing that we didn't miss there is Doyle, I think, as Taylor was running through, actually connected with him, and he's very fortunate the referee didn't see it.
It was right on the edge of the penalty area. Exeter instead have their first corner of the afternoon, which Boateng's going to take. Moxey stands waiting at the far post. Plenty of air underneath that, a very deep ball, and the header on target is comfortably claimed by Lee Burge, the League 2 goalkeeper of the year. It's just a high climb at the far post. I think it was Moore Taylor that met it in the air, but it was comfortably guided into the hands of the goalkeeper. Story was in fact his centre half partner that just got his head to it. Exeter's first attempt on target in a game which has seen little in the way of premium goal-mouth action so far. 29 minutes gone on TalkSport 2, and it remains 0-0. The ball is with Stokes, who's only off the field for 3-4 minutes or so. The Coventry medical staff have done a good job patching him up quickly. Ball is played back over the top by Sweeney. Stockley off balance, has done really well to bring it down, and then suspicion of handball against Kelly as he got on the end of the flick on which was intended for Boateng. Biamu then brings it forward through the midfield, and now Coventry with Bayliss, the youngster, taking on Moxey, can't get past him, and Exeter win it back. Riding the challenges, Tilson's done well. Turns away from Max Biamu, who was part of the Sutton United side that had that excellent FA Cup run last season, beating Leeds and losing to Arsenal eventually in a 5th round tie. Biamu playing up front in those games. Exeter able to bring it forward. Harley in a much deeper role in the last 6-7 minutes than he had at the start of the game. Just pops it off for Tilson, and then Harley just digs his right foot underneath it and sends a long diagonal out towards the right for Jake Taylor. It's cleared by Hyam, high up in the air, away from Stockley. Shipley goes up for it but can't do anything constructive with it. Stockley lays it off for Boateng, whose touch is a little bit heavy, still falls for Stockley. Clever little reverse ball for Harley's shot, might just attain a deflection on its way through on the edge of the penalty area, took the sting out of it. It was a comfortable save by Burge, diving to his left hand side. We've reached the half-hour point, and it's Coventry 0, Exeter 0 on TalkSport 2.
And Michael Doyle is going absolutely crazy at his left hand side winger here. He's saying to Jordan Shipley, he's saying, if you're going to go up there and try and win the header, at least put your body in between the man and the ball. He lost it out because he ducked his head, and consequently it fell to one of the most productive players for Exeter, and they nearly had the shot on target.
Stokes to McNulty, just took a little ricochet through inside the penalty area. Stokes chased after it, but will be picked up by Pym, and the Exeter goalkeeper bowls it out and finds Moxey. Moxey tried to turn very quickly. 3 sky blue shirts converge on him, but Tilson wins it back. A destroyer in the midfield for Exeter. And now Boateng will be able to take up the cudgels. He's laid it off for Woodman to his left. Woodman flicking it forward. Boateng brings it under control. Back it goes from him to Moxey. Moxey to Ryan Harley. Harley is 10 yards inside the Coventry half. His ball forward hits Kelly, goes out to Boateng, which wasn't what he intended. Boateng's long deep cross, far too deep for Stockley to be able to get on the end of it, and Burge catches it and then bowls it out quickly. Already the game beginning to get a little bit more stretch now as McNulty will bring it forward, looks for his strike partner Biamu, but only finds Story, who will be able to knock it away through the midfield. Stockley lays it off with his back to the direction of goal, something he's done hundreds and hundreds of times this season. Looks for Boateng and finds him, and then quickly turns and sprints forward. Exeter's build up a little bit more conservative, but they will play it from Moore-Taylor out to Woodman and build from inside their own half man.
It is slightly more conservative, but the thing that Exeter probably could do better is getting support up to the big man Stockley. He's just helped a ball on there.
And he's found Taylor with it. Pulled back by Sweeney, cross inside the penalty area. Harley had made a run forward through the midfield. Woodman guides it back into the fray, and Willis can clear for Coventry. And this is an example of where the game is becoming stretched, because he's just won a defensive header on the edge of his own penalty area there, and quickly he's bypassed about 6 Exeter players and found Biamu on halfway. And Tilson's done a good job in holding him up, but he hasn't got possession back, and Shipley can make his way forward and tries luck from distance. A little stinger for Pym, who palmed it with his first attempt at a save, just flicked it only about 2 feet up in the air and was able to catch it comfortably. No danger that was going to fall at the feet of McNulty. It was good goalkeeping, and it remains 0-0 with 12 minutes to go to half time.
Yeah, it was a nice little probing run by Jordan Shipley there. You know, got the ball just on the half turn, found that the space opened up in front of him. And I think as a centre half for Exeter, you've got to go out as a centre half and press the space rather than just see what's behind you. You've got to make a decision at some point where, do I stay or do I go? And they decided to stay, and it was a simple save for Christy Pym. But I think that's where, for me, and where I'm looking at this, if Coventry can get the ball out wide to them 2 young boys, they'll have a lot more joy than perhaps going through the centre of the pitch, because there's 3 midfielders in the centre of the pitch for Exeter, Jim. It's them little probing balls into the McNultys and the Biamus probably won't work until the game opens up.
Exeter, somewhat surprisingly, this season had only the 8th best scoring record and the 8th best defensive record in the division, yet they've ended up 4th. Just getting another view, Matt, of the challenge that you were talking about from about 4 or 5 minutes ago, which was the one from Doyle on Harley on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, no, he's caught him, and it's a good job that none of the officials, including the 4th official, hasn't seen it, because if he had seen it, it's a naughty one. And I think that Doyle at times uses his experience and probably is a bit of gamesmanship there, trying to leave one on. I think it was Taylor. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't much made of it, which surprised me, but we'll see if Taylor and Doyle continue the battle.
Now, David Webb is the referee today. They reckon that he could be promoted to championship games on a regular basis next season. It's a throw which will be taken on the Exeter right-hand side by the Irish fullback Piers Sweeney, who signed from Reading. That's been a well-trodden path from Reading down to the West Country. And Jake Taylor, another that has come through the ranks at Reading, that's playing for Exeter today. Grimmer's got the ball on the Coventry right. The blonde-haired Scottish fullback, once of Fulham, can play it forward. And Exeter win it back again in the midfield. Boateng just turning, knocking the ball away, plays it down towards the right-hand side of the midfield. Sweeney's long ball forward. And that was chancy. Hyam threw himself at it for a diving headed clearance, completely missed the ball, but Stockley had done him the credit of expecting him to get it away, and so it was just on his heels as the ball flashed past him inside the penalty area, and no harm was done from a Coventry perspective. 9.5 minutes to go to half time here on TalkSport 2, and still the most significant moment of the afternoon lies ahead of us. It's 0-0 between the Sky Blues and the Grecians. Exeter hoping to get over the disappointment of defeat a year ago today in the playoff final against Blackpool, a match that they lost 2-1. They have been in a position returning to Wembley before as the side that had lost the playoff final the previous year, and on that occasion they won. That was when they were playoff finalists in the National League. The conference as then was. They lost to Morecambe, came back 12 months later and beat Cambridge. Coventry in their first ever playoff campaign, in possession with Kelly playing the ball to the right for Willis. He's put under pressure by Boateng and is guarded back for Burge. Burge in his yellow boots just kicks the ball forward, and it stops in the D. And Burge just down at walking pace, then takes a step back before addressing it, hitting it cleanly towards the edge of the penalty area, where I think it's Biamu's gone down injured off the ball as it was launched forward. It's just a little coming together that has left him on the deck, and he's in need of a little bit of treatment here, Max Biamu. Just a relatively routine ball forward, coming together between him and Sweeney, I believe, that has left him on the deck. Just seeing a replay of it now, and Sweeney just leant into him as the ball went past the pair of them, and Biamu's gone down.
There's nothing in that for me, Jim. Looking at that there, that's completely different to the incident we've just been talking about with Doyle. Sweeney stood his ground, and Biamu, being the bigger man, I'm surprised he's gone over so easily, but surprisingly or unsurprisingly, he's jumped to his feet and looks quite happy to carry on.
Yeah, he's maybe just having a little bit of a breather. Certainly players from both teams have been more than happy to come over to the technical areas again during that little hiatus and take a little bit more fluid on board, take some instructions on board as well. And Biamu makes his way off, and the orange stretcher, which had been readied, is put back behind the hoardings. Let's go back down to Moose, who's got something to say on that injury for Stokes.
Yeah, he went off, as you know, Jim, had 3 stitches put above his left eye, 3 stitches. At one stage they weren't sure if he was coming back. Rob McDonald was being ready to come on, but he has come back on, but he has got 3 stitches above his left eye. I presume, boys, that's quite painful.
I would think so. Eye injuries often are.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to get it caught between now and the end of the game, but the chances are he will. And I think with the type of player that Stockley is, he might have a look at them stitches and go and perhaps plonk himself on that side of the pitch for 5 or 10 minutes.
Let's see if he can open it up again. Play's going to restart here with a goal kick, which will be taken by Christy Pym away to the left-hand side. Pym, who started the playoff final last season, there's been a fair turnover of players for Exeter in the last 12 months, but Christy Pym's been a perennial. This is his 54th game of the campaign for his hometown club today. A fine goalkeeper he's turning into. Moore Taylor lays it out towards Woodman, and Woodman will play the ball forward towards Dean Moxey on the left-hand side for Exeter. Just brings it back infield, finds Woodman again. From him to Moore Taylor, Story to his right, but he's played it forward towards the edge of the centre circle instead towards Boateng. And then out towards the left-hand side, where Moore Taylor will ping a longer ball forward. Taylor going up for it. He's swap flanks with Moxey again now. He's back on the right-hand side, but he can't beat Stokes in the air. And it goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken by the Coventry left-back Stokes in front of a sea of sky blue away to the right-hand side. And we're talking about 37,000 Coventry fans being here today. And you look, we just have to peer down beneath the roof from our commentary point here at Wembley Stadium on TalkSport 2, but all you can see is sky blue. The support has been magnificent. Exeter haven't travelled in such numbers, of course, a smaller club, but their support has certainly been very vociferous. Boateng's got it on the right-hand side of the Coventry penalty area. Trying to turn away from Stokes, couldn't quite do so. Moxey will be able to pick it up. Moxey turning it onto his favoured left foot, then sends it wide for Woodman. This is a promising situation for Exeter City. Back from him to Harley. Reverse ball to Woodman, who will have to run round it, but can deliver a first-time ball. Boateng attacks it, couldn't get anything on it. Stockley couldn't read it. And then it'll be cleared down the Coventry left.
Yeah, fantastic ball in there. They worked it really well out wide from Henry. He played out wide to Woodman. First time crossing. And it just looked to me as Boateng was attempting to head it, he almost pulled out of it slightly, and the ball might maybe a couple of inches too high, but in those positions, and this is something Hiram can improve with his game, attack the ball. He's 6'1", 6'2". There was an opportunity for him to score a goal there for his team.
Man who does have Premier League experience, albeit only one solitary appearance in the Premier League in his days with Palace. Back he goes from Tilson for Exeter, inside his own half, and Story will pick it up, and Story knocks it square across the midfield to find Moore Taylor. Moore Taylor's ball forward. Helped on again by Stockley, out to the left-hand touchline. Knocked away by Grimmer. Grimmer now to Bayliss. The first opportunity really for Bayliss to really show a clean pair of heels to the Exeter back line. And he's made good ground. McNulty almost got there. Knocked away by Story. Brought down in the midfield by Coventry's Mickey Doyle. Doyle works it out to the left-hand touchline for Stokes, and back he goes for Doyle again. Doyle is 25 yards outside the penalty area. Works square out towards Jack Grimmer. Grimmer on the Coventry right, quickly deposits the ball back at the feet of Kelly, who was relegated out of League 2 last season, could end this season being promoted out of it. But his crossfield ball there only found a man in red and white, and it was Taylor. Taylor plays it forward for Boateng. Boateng looks up, sees Stockley obediently making ground towards the edge of the penalty area. Harley, 20 yards adrift of him, has that little bit of space. That's the pass that he plays. Back towards Boateng now. Harley continues his run into a wider position on the Exeter right. Sweeney outside him. It's chipped in by Harley, looking for the darting run from midfield from Moxey. And it's put out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Exeter right.
Yeah, good little passage of play for Exeter there, Jim. You know, they had 2 or 3 real key players in possession. Hiram Boateng in a more advanced role, and you know, the ball into the box needs to be a precise ball into the box, because the only real threat that they've got in there is Stockley. So are you going to go and peel that ball to the back post where he can, you know, try and pin himself on a fullback, or is another one of the midfielders going to try and bust a gut and join Stockley in there? Because as we see at this moment in time, the distances between the forward position for Exeter and the midfielders is just slightly bigger than perhaps what Paul Tisdale would want.
In that game against Lincoln that you commentated on, Matt, I know that they had Robbie Simpson playing up front almost with Stockley. I'll get your thoughts in a moment as to whether that might be a change that Paul Tisdale will think about at some juncture in the second half, as Grimmer plays it forward at the other end looking for McNulty. It's just knocked away by Tilson, who's having a fine game, and then Woodman will get it further away. Stockley eased under the flight of it by the experienced Willis, and then Hyam plays it out towards the Coventry right, and they'll build again with Kelly finding Doyle. Doyle with another long straight ball over the top, and Story off balance gets it away from McNulty, whose movement was good. Beermu tries to make something happen, has led into more Taylor, and it's a free kick which Exeter will take outside that penalty area. But going back, Matt Taylor, to the point that Sean was making there about Stockley being so isolated, do you think it's a change that might be in Paul Tisdale's mind sooner rather than later?
I think if the game stays at 0-0 and the play continues to develop in the way it has done, then he's got to look at getting somebody up there alongside him, because he's very isolated. At one point earlier in the game, I think it was about 25 minutes gone, Coventry were outnumbering Jayden Stockley 4-1 in their penalty box. I mean, that cannot be something that can continue.
Now play has stopped again because Coventry have a player down injured. Is it Shipley that's gone down on the...
There's more than a few elbows flying around this pitch. You know, there's 2 or 3 occasions where, you know, the lads have just led with their elbow. I don't think it was an intentional to hurt somebody, but the referee just has to be a little bit careful of this.
You've seen the replay. That time it's Sweeney on Shipley, and just deliberately mistimed his jump and caught him with the flat of the left arm in the back. Shipley's okay, he's back on his feet. We've got just a few seconds to go to half-time. There will be 3 additional minutes, Moose tells us. Ball play forward towards the edge of the penalty, and McNulty didn't get hold of it. That was a half chance. Long ball for Beermu, just nodded it down. He came slightly behind McNulty, but he got far too much spin and loop on his effort, and Pym could watch it over the bar.
Could that be a sign that Mark McNulty's perhaps not at 100% today? You know, we've seen that type of ball played into Max Beermu, and it was a fantastic little head down into a great area of the pitch, and generally McNulty would really connect a lot smoother than what he did there. He looked a little bit lethargic in the way that he was moving, and we'll have to keep a close eye on that in the second half.
Exeter work it long again. Stockley looking to try and get Harley in, who'd made a third man run. Coventry win the second ball in the midfield. They've done a lot of that, and it'll be played by Doyle out to the right-hand touchline for Grimmer. He can't make easy progress up the Coventry right-hand side, but he can still retain possession and work it back via Willis to Kelly. And now to Stokes. Stokes forward for Shipley. Back he goes for Stokes again, who's chipped it left-footed down the touchline. McNulty brilliantly holds it up and spins it round the corner for Shipley. To the edge of the area, his left-footed shot. Again, Exeter players converged on him very quickly, blocked the shot at the source, and Pym can come out and make a save.
Excellent play there from McNulty. We talked about him and we've highlighted he likes to run in behind. He's fronted up there. His first touch as the ball came into him from Stokes was exceptional, and he sets off, I think it was the attacking midfielder there who had the shot. He set him off lovely, and it just couldn't connect with it. It got away from him. But you know, McNulty isn't just a player. We've seen so far, Sean alluded to it, he might not be 100%, but with his touch and his vision to lay his teammates in, he's still going to be a big player in this game.
TalkSport 2 bringing you the League 2 playoff final, the final fixture of the English domestic campaign. 2 minutes into stoppage time at the end of the first half, in which neither goalkeeper has really had the chance to make a save they'll remember for the rest of their lives. 8 attempts we've seen. Coventry have had 6 of them, but the majority of those 8 have been off target. Ball is with Stokes on the Coventry left, who sends it forward over halfway. Story beats McNulty in the air. You'd expect him to do, a much taller man than the Coventry forward, and then has to just take a step back and control it on his upper chest, launches it forward towards Stockley. It's returned from the back by Stokes, but will go through to Pym. He's controlled it inside his own penalty area, and the goalkeeper takes a touch and then knocks it out for Moore Taylor, a player approaching 200 games for Exeter City, and he will bring it forward through the midfield, only so far, and then Grimmer's won it back. Grimmer will just play the ball out to the left, and I think already a few illustrations of some tiring legs and tiring minds at the end of a strength-sapping first half. As a misdirected pass goes straight out of play for a throw, which there won't be time to take on the Exeter right-hand side. So neither Pym nor Burge has had too much to do. Mark McNulty's had a half chance, but only a half chance to add to the 28 goals he's scored so far this season. It's cagey, it's cat and mouse, and still very difficult to call. Half time in the League 2 playoff final on TalkSport 2. Coventry 0, Exeter 0. Thanks, Dan. Thank you very much indeed. As you say, there must have been an interesting conversation between the Coventry kit man and Mark Robins, but they conjured up this solution. The Coventry playing in a kit that is very reminiscent of that they won the FA Cup with back in 1987, with the predominantly white front with the thin sky blue stripes down it, and the white back with just blue lettering and numbering. It's going to be Exeter to get the game underway for the second half, kicking from right to left in their much more familiar broader striped red and white shirts with black shorts, and they're kicking from right to left towards the end of the ground that holds the 12,000 or so travelling Exeter supporters. Underway then for what could be the last 45 minutes of the season, but extra time and penalties very much on the agenda today if necessary, and with only 3 shots on target in the opening 45 minutes, you just wonder whether this is a game that is going to go all the way. Burge clears from the edge of his own penalty area for Coventry. I'll run through the 2 teams for you in a moment. It's a long ball that's launched forward towards BMU on the edge of the penalty area at the other end, and then it'll be cleared down the right hand side by Grimmer. Kelly tries to make something happen for Coventry, and Willis will be able to pick it up on the Sky Blues right hand side and launch a long one forward, which McNulty will chase. BMU beaten in the air eventually by Sweeney, and back it will come again for Dominic Hyam, playing at centre half again for Coventry out of the left hand touchline, where Stokes, who had that treatment to an eye injury just midway through the first half, just tries to play the ball forward there, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Pym for Exeter. In front of him a back 4 of Sweeney, Story, Moore Taylor and Woodman, and then in midfield Taylor, Tilson, Boateng and Moxey, with Harley then playing in support of Stockley. Burge in goal for Coventry, Grimmer, Willis, Hyam and Stokes, Bayliss, Kelly, Doyle and Shipley, McNulty and BMU up front. Clearance from Pym, helped on down the left-hand side by Moxey, brought under control by Willis for Coventry, and his long ball forward will be chased again by McNulty, headed away by Moore Taylor, then brought down on the right-hand side of midfield by Bayliss, and tried to slip it back in towards McNulty and get the return ball. He couldn't quite. Pym's clearance not the best. Kelly can field that one for Coventry. About 30 yards outside the Exeter penalty area. Back it comes again. Another long diagonal ball forwards. An excellent one as well. Brought down by Bayliss on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Trying to twist and turn and get his way past Woodman. He's in the box. He pulls it in for McNulty, and Pym makes a sharp save, head high, by his near post to the left-hand side to put it out for a corner.
And that's the first time that we've seen this young, real creative player in possession inside the 18-yard box. Tom Bayliss. Wonderful feat. Managed to face the defender at 1v1 and just pick a pass out, and McNulty didn't go into the 6-yard box. He found space just outside of it, and a good save by Pym.
Coventry's first corner of the second half, their third of the game, and it's going to be a left-footed in-swinging delivery almost towards the penalty spot where Willis was waiting. It was knocked away easily and brought down by Doyle, who will guide it back for Liam Kelly. Kelly out of the right-hand touchline for the corner taker, Shipley. Back from Jordan Shipley to Liam Kelly again in his white boots, and now space for Doyle to work. The ball played forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Shot on the turn from Beermu's in, and Coventry strike first. 3 minutes into the second half. Wonderful ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's come down for Willis, who's fired it into the bottom right-hand corner of the net. The centre half still forward from the previous set play, worked it onto his right foot, and has arrowed one across Christy Pym and in. Our Coventry about to win their first promotion since the 1960s. They lead by a goal to nil.
Jim, I can only tell everybody listening what a finish that is from Jordan Willis, the centre half from Coventry. He's picked it up, he's received the ball on the edge of the box on his right foot, he's turned inside from 20 yards and curled it into the top corner. Christy Pym can't get anywhere near it. An unbelievable finish. Is that the goal now that is going to ignite this game? And we've got to see Exeter now maybe make a change and come out at it, because somebody needs to get up there to help Jordan Stockley if Exeter are going to get back in this game.
Well, he doesn't score many goals, but he scored some significant ones. He netted against Stoke in the FA Cup in that big shot victory for the Sky Blues earlier this season, and his 7th goal for Coventry in 170 odd games in his career has given the Sky Blues the lead at Wembley.
I think what we've witnessed over this past 24 hours is this might be game today for perhaps not centre forward, just like we witnessed yesterday with Woods scoring the 2 goals for Rotherham. This is a day, and this is a kind of a game, Jim, where somebody somewhere is going to be the hero, and it doesn't necessarily have to come from one of your attack-minded players. What we've just witnessed there is a centre half who's just took the most fantastic first touch to give him an opportunity to score that goal, but the execution of it was absolutely top draw.
Fantastic strike from Jordan Willis, born in Coventry, born and bred, a Coventry fan, and it's a moment he will never forget. Angling one past Christy Pym, in off the inside right side netting to give Coventry the lead. You're not missing anything on the field because Beermu's been down injured and receiving treatment inside the centre circle, and his race may well be run. Johnson Clark-Harris is going to come on to replace him, the man who's Coventry's youngest ever player in his first spell with the club, and Moose is about to replace Beermu.
I can tell you that Mark Robbins' reaction to the goal just pointed to his head. He didn't jump up and down and celebrate. He pointed to his head, telling his team, let's think about what we do from now on. Beermu is limping. Quite a bad gesture towards me. Looking like a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old man that's been running a marathon. But anyway, he's coming off now, and Clark-Harris is on.
95th time in his young career that he's come off the bench. 95 sub-appearances by the age of 23. You're used to the role that you've been casting. Another cameo for him here at Wembley, with Coventry leading Exeter live on TalkSport 2 by a goal to nil. Doyle plays one over the top, and it'll drift out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Exeter left-hand side, taken quickly by Woodman. Urgency now about Port Tisdale's Grecians.
No, there is, and as we look down to our left-hand side, Jim, They're out warming up, 3 Exeter substitutes, and Robbie Simpson is one of them. How long will it be until Paul Tisdale, his manager, calls him back in? Because I think that we've spoken about it a lot. If we look at the pitch now, Exeter are building the play up. There isn't a player within 15 yards of Stockley there, and he actually wins the header, and albeit flicks it onto nobody. So support must get up to him quicker.
Well, scoring first, always likely to be important, particularly if it was the Sky Blues that did it. Their record defending leads this season has been extraordinary in all competitions this season. They've taken the lead 28 times and they've won 26 of them, drawn the other 2. That is some record, and it's also borne out historically in the League 2 playoff final. In 8 of the last 9 League 2 playoff finals, the side that has scored first has won promotion. Coventry leading by a goal to nil, with Willis scoring 3 minutes into the second half, and the Sky Blues on the front foot again now. And here's Johnson Clark-Harris, first opportunity he's had since coming on. McNulty making his way to the middle. Bayliss is there as well. Clark-Harris fisses a low ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Moore Taylor's been able to deal with that, and Exeter will be able to get it away and get it forward with Sweeney. Back towards the edge of the penalty area, his own penalty area. Long diagonal ball is well played for Woodman. Woodman's long left-footed ball up the touchline misses Moxey, goes out of play for a Coventry throw, level the edge of their own penalty area. We're 8 minutes into the second half, and Coventry have the breakthrough, leading 1-0.
And this is where Paul Tisdale's just stepped foot back into his technical area, gone back to his bench, his support staff probably having that little chat. Is it too early to make that substitute? You normally see the substitute affecting the game round about the 60th minute, but I don't think he can be watching the clock. I think he has to make this change now, because as I see it from up here, there is that big space between Stockley and his midfield.
Now McNulty will break forward at the other end towards the edge of the other end of the penalty area. Left-footed shot takes a deflection. It's in for 2. They've done it again, and this time it's Shipley. And 2 goals in 5 minutes. 2 massive steps for Coventry City towards a return to third-tier football. Is it going to be back-to-back playoff final defeats for the men from the West Country? The end away to our left-hand side in silence. Away to our right, sky blue jubilation. A deflection all important on Shipley's effort, but they lead Exeter by 2 goals to nil.
The assist there comes from McNulty, picking up the ball 40 yards from the Exeter goal, running directly at the heart of their defence, slipping a perfectly weighted pass out wide to Shipley on his stronger left foot. I think this is his 4th effort in the game. It takes a cruel deflection off of Sweeney, which takes it over Pym, who's helpless, to put Coventry 2 goals up in the first 10 minutes of this second half.
Jimmy, it's about how you start the game, and I think there's one particular side who's come out with just that desire and that necessity to witness that the opposition aren't playing their best football. So what Coventry have done, they've exploited that and they've maximised that start, and to be 2-0 up now, Exeter have got to make this change. Time is running out for Exeter City.
2-0 to Coventry here on TalkSport 2 with 35 minutes to go. Exeter will have to dig deep in what could well be Paul Tisdale's last game in charge. Can he mastermind the response? Stockley away from Boateng, but Harley picks it up in the midfield. Tilson then plays it forward for Moxey. Square through the midfield again for Exeter City. Tilson's ball forward. Stockley tries to help it on, but once more he's an isolated figure, and he puts his hands out in front of him as he can't find a teammate here. And Boateng has been given a little bit more license to push forward since the 2 goals have gone in. But I just wonder whether there will be a change in personnel before too long. It looks that way. Now towards the edge of the box, Boateng will bring it down. Left-hand side of the box, he'll clip it in towards the far post. Coming around the back is Harley, looking for Stockley, can't find him. Half cleared, headed back into the fray for Taylor. Stockley looking for an overhead kick, was shaping up to shoot, ended up on the deck as 2 Coventry players sandwiched him, nothing given. Back in towards him again, headed clear by Willis, high up in the air by Bayliss. Brought back down by Boateng. Grimmer can head it further away. Then a sliding challenge comes in from Doyle, and all of a sudden Coventry are on the front foot again. They've only got Clark Harris as an out ball, but Bayliss will be able to pick it up on the right-hand touchline, and then as it's worked back through the midfield, it goes out of play for a Coventry throw. They're in complete control now, with goals from Willis and Shipley in a 5.5-minute spell. They lead Exeter City by 2 goals to 0.
They're in complete control of this game, you're right, Jim, and I think the two controllers are them two midfielders for Coventry City. You've got vast amounts of experience now on that pitch. You know, you've got Doyle who's just orchestrating, grabbing hold of his players to say, does this have to be more than 2-0? No, it doesn't. The end result is about getting promoted into League One. So they'll find the space, they'll find the time for that next opportunity to come. Now Exeter have got to chase this game. It's game on.
Well, Lloyd James is going to be coming on first up for Exeter. It looks as though it could be a double change that is imminent. There was a push then by Grimmer on Moxey from an Exeter throw. The referee's assistant didn't spot that. It was blindsided them, to be fair. And Exeter have another throw, which they will take. Approaching halfway on the left-hand side with Woodman. Woodman with the ball in hand, waiting for a few options to present themselves. Throws it through the midfield. Gets the return ball, this Craig Woodman. Then lays it back for Jake Taylor again. And Taylor will be able to bring it forward into the midfield. Play it out to the right-hand side for Sweeney. Back from the Irishman. Harley trying to get involved again. Just pick up the ball on the edge of the centre circle. Bit of movement coming from Stockley. The ball doesn't go into his feet. It's played back into a deeper role instead, but now work wide out towards the right-hand touchline. Will Exeter get a corner from that? They will, as they attempt to clear it. Shanks over his own bar from Hyam and out for an Exeter corner.
Yeah, we need a good delivery here from Boateng, but I'm just watching the build-up play from Exeter there and focusing on Coventry City's shape defensively. 2 banks of 4. They're happy for the ball to be crossed into the box because they outnumber the Exeter players in there.
Boateng to take this corner. It's only Exeter's second of the game. Plenty of movement coming from the edge of the penalty area. Swung in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Heads go up for it. Referee spotted a deflection off a Coventry player, and it's another corner.
Brilliant defending there. Jordan Willis has just gone and scored the first goal for his team, but he knows what his job is. His job is to grab hold of these attack-minded players for Exeter and do his defensive duty. Brilliant header.
Harley to take this latest corner for Exeter. Boateng showing for on the edge of the 6-yard box. In it comes into a deeper position. It's half cleared, and then the second header gets it outside the penalty area. Now McNulty could be on the counter-attack, and to his right-hand side he's got Shipley, and Exeter have got no kind of defensive shape here. Shipley's got options either side of him. He's gone for goal himself, and Pym has got down and just got his palm of his left hand to it to tip it around the post for a corner.
What an effort. I'm going to be honest, I'm up here screaming for him to pass the ball. He's 30 yards out and he takes a shot on. That's what a goal has done for his confidence. McNulty picks up the ball 60 yards from the opposition's goal spot. Another wonderful pass, and Shipley here, he drives in on his left foot and he's in the centre of the goal and he hits it with some venom low. Pym touches it round the corner for an Exeter set play.
Corner is taken. Shaw, Shipley, Bayliss, Shipley back in. Pym comes out and claims it, and then will bowl it very quickly out towards his right-hand side and attempt to get Exeter going quickly. An hour gone, 2-0 to Coventry, with both goals scored in a 5-minute spell earlier in this second half. Coventry win it back. Happy to get it out of harm's way, launch it upfield where it'll be brought down by Sweeney, and then it's won back in the midfield brilliantly by Kelly. But he can't make anything of it thanks to Story's excellent interception on the edge of his own penalty area. But Jake Taylor very nearly caught in possession in a dangerous area there. Exeter work it wide. Woodman can bring it forward. Get it away from Bayliss. Forward towards Boateng. Boateng towards the edge of the penalty area. Still he's going for Exeter. Still around Boateng. Playing it off to his left-hand side. Moxey's got time to measure across. Pulls it into a more central, deeper position instead for Tilson. Back it comes through the midfield again. Woodman to Moxey. Tilson slides in. Harley's beaten to it, and Grimmer will be able to get it away for Coventry down the right-hand side, where the out ball now is Clark Harris. He's beaten in the air and beaten very effectively by Moore Taylor. Back from him to Woodman. Woodman's ball inside the penalty area, and the lines of communication were right from Coventry. Burge giving a shout to his defender Hyam to leave the ball. Shipley furious that it wasn't hit at a different angle and given something to attack, and he goes through to the Coventry left-hand side of the goalkeeper again, which will be taken by Burge from the edge of his own penalty area. A long left-footed up and under from him, which is headed away on the edge of the box by Story, and then returned to him and played out towards the Exeter right. Coventry 2, Exeter 0 on Talk Sport 2 in the League 2 playoff final. Coventry less than half an hour away from promotion for the first time since 1967. Exeter have to make changes, a double change, and TalkSport's Ian Abrahams has got the details.
Yeah, Craig Woodman is the first man to come off. Craig Woodman replaced by Lloyd James. The last two finals here in the last 2 days have been won by their captains, Tom Kearney, of course, of Fulham, and yesterday Richard Wood. Well, it might well be Jake Moore-Taylor's chance this afternoon for Exeter if he's to do it, but the other replacement has just come on, Matt Jay, has replaced Dean Moxley. But they were thinking of bringing the captain, if I know that.
So James and Jay on for Woodman and Moxley, and Coventry restart play with a throw, which is flicked down towards the left-hand side. Jay involved in the action straight away. Harley will now pick it up. Harley's drifted out towards the left-hand side. Easy question for me to ask, not necessarily an easy one to answer. What are Exeter doing now?
Well, he's through caution to the wind here. Porter's down. He's gone for the three at the back. He's gone for the wing backs, two up top. Keep you three in the midfield.
And they got a chance with Taylor, trying to dart inside the penalty area. Suspicion it might have hit an arm. Low ball is whipped in and cleared. Stockley again furious with the lack of quality of the delivery, and Coventry will knock it away, Sean.
Yeah, just going back to that tactical change, you know, he was there on the sideline speaking long and hard to Steve Perryman, you know, thinking about what his next throw of the dice would be, and, you know, he's punched for this three at the back because you've got to go out. It's all a bust now. You know, this is where they are. Exeter's season is only going to be determined by this final 20-25 minutes.
Boateng with a shot, which is deflected off a Coventry player on the edge of the D and cleared. Be brought forward towards Bayliss on the Sky Blues right, and he's won a throw. And so they've got Sweeney playing as one of the centre halves now, along with Story and Moore-Taylor. And they pushed Harley out wide on the left-hand side. And Stockley has got Jay playing behind him. Moxley's taken up a more advanced role as well now, and it's a massive gamble as far as Exeter are concerned. Nothing to lose at this stage, of course, with 25 minutes to go and needing 2 goals to even take it to extra time now.
Yeah, no, they have to take the game to Coventry. Exeter, by their own admission, haven't been good enough in this game so far, but they've got the best part of 25 minutes, 26 minutes to put it right and try. The next goal, Jim, is vitally important. Exeter get it, they get a bit of momentum. Coventry get it as it is at the moment. 2-0, it's game over.
Moxley's hooked the ball back through the midfield, and it'll be picked up at the back by Exeter's Sweeney, who plays it out towards the right-hand touchline, where it's worked forward very quickly by James, who's playing as the right wing back at the moment. Just makes his way into a more central position now, and Grimmer will get it forward and give it away. Think back to the second leg of the semi-final against Notts County, where Coventry were in a commanding position, 2-0 up in that, went back to 2-1, could have been 2-2. As it was, Notts County had built up a real head of steam before Biamu scored and put the game out of sight, but Tisdale will have seen that. There'll be a message that will be emanating from the touchline out to the players that it's not a lost cause yet, but with 25 minutes to go, it's not too far short. Exeter, you feel, need to score relatively quickly. Loose ball through the midfield. Matt Jay chases after it here for Exeter. It'll be played by the Coventry back line. Stokes effectively guiding it back to his goalkeeper Burge. Long ball forward. Clark Harrison, McNulty chase after it. Brought under control by Moore-Taylor, who works it to his right for Sweeney. Sweeney will turn and try and check and play it back through the midfield. And it'll be played out towards the left-hand touchline now, where Ryan Harley is waiting. And it's clipped towards the edge of the box, and headed away, a defensive header which wasn't the best necessarily. Jay chased after it, but was picked up relatively easily by Lee Burge. Now, remember, this is fourth tier football. Crowd today would never happen anywhere else in the world. 50,196, and the majority of those very, very happy with life at the moment. Coventry 2, Exeter 0.
Absolutely. I mean, Matty mentioned about what an advert this is for League Two. It's incredible. You know, this is all around the world, you know, witnessing what the levels of our English game can deliver. To have 50,000 people at a playoff final is absolutely remarkable. But going back to the pitch, Jim, I'm so surprised that we've not seen Robbie Simpson on this pitch. You know, I'm looking at the substitutions that he's made, and I think it's crying out for Robbie Simpson.
Here's James, ball inside the penalty area. It's a better delivery towards Stockley, but it was still only towards him rather than right to him, and Burge could come out and make a catch, and will just calm things down and wait for his players to push forward upfield. So the Exeter back line now, Sweeney, Story and Moore Taylor, and then they've got Harley playing on the left, James on the right, Tilson and Boateng in the heart of midfield, and then they've got Jay and Moxie in support of Stockley in a 3-4-2-1 formation at the moment. Exeter. Grimmer's got the ball, and the Scotsman plays it down the right-hand touchline. Lovely turn by Bayliss. Bayliss trying to work it down towards McNulty, who's drawn a defender out, set it up for Grimmer. Coventry City are back. Midway through the second half, they take a 3-0 lead. There is no coming back from that for Exeter City. Coventry will win promotion. Their first since 1967. A club that's been through so much anguish and exile in Northampton. Ownership disputes. But they've had a big day in the sun at Wembley, and the players have responded brilliantly. They lead 3-0. Coventry will be promoted.
Honestly, Jim, we talk about goal scorers and we think about who's going to be the one that's going to put their name in lights. Who would have thought Grimmer and Willis would have been two goal scorers this afternoon? But the quality of the strikes, I don't think you'll see a better strike at Wembley like we've just seen there. It's a fantastic little move by Coventry City, and the fullbacks ended up inside the 18-yard box and curled a tremendous left-footed strike into the top right-hand corner of Christy Pym's net. Remarkable.
With his wrong foot.
He's passed it in. I mean, you look at the concentration there when that ball gets laid back to him by that man McNulty again, who's been instrumental now in the last two goals Coventry has scored and still hasn't got on the score sheet himself. Don't rule that out, Jim. He looks like he's really up for it.
Well, the two players that scored in that heroic FA Cup victory against Premier League opposition in Stoke earlier this season have both scored again today. Willis and Grimmer. They only scored 6 goals each in their career before today. An afternoon to remember. And Exeter, with 20 minutes to go, need 3 to take it to extra time. Tilson sees the ball roll across his body, slides in. Will be a comeback of Herculean proportions if Exeter can salvage anything from here. Pym takes a touch on the edge of the 6-yard box and clears. Launched forward over the head of Shipley. Shipley going in with Kelly, wins it back. Doesn't have too much in the way of immediate support. He's done really well to hold it up, get it away from Kelly. Can't find James, who was the pass that was trying to play on the right-hand side, and slid out of play for an Exeter throw. Well, still Mark Robbins keeps his counsel on the edge of the technical area.
He's going for more, Jim, Mark Robbins. He's going for more. He's bringing on a substitution here. Kyle Reid. It's not as if he's going to show up shop here. He's going for the 4th.
3-0 they lead. Kyle Reid, who won the League One playoff final with Bradford back in 2013, will be the next man on. Boateng's ball inside the area, punched away by Burge. Stockley, an increasingly disconsolate figure inside the penalty area, watches it go past him. Out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Exeter left-hand side. And the referee's just asking Harley to wait so the substitution can be made. No, he's telling him to get on with it. Harley obliges into the feet of Taylor. Back for Harley again. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Clipped inside the penalty area as Stockley goes up for it. It's knocked away brilliantly by Hyam, and another long ball forward over the top, and McNulty chases it but can't get past the two Exeter defenders detailing him. In the end, judged to push one of them, and Exeter restart play quickly with a free kick taken by Pym. Coventry 3, Exeter 0. All three goals coming in a 20-minute spell at the start of this second half. Boateng now for Exeter City. Forward into the feet of Matt Jay. Ball down the road from Exeter and Torbay. Cleared through the midfield again by Coventry. Almost guiding it forward towards McNulty. Suspicion that Story might have let into that with his arm in a bid to deal with it. Certainly McNulty thought that was the case, but Exeter bring it away. And by necessity, they're keeping bodies camped forward now. And Coventry almost able to cheat with Clark Harris and McNulty forward, and just hope that they can get on the end of loose pickings on the counter-attack. The long ball is launched inside the penalty area by Moore Taylor, headed across the face of goal and wide. Out of play for a Coventry goal kick, and both sides, Ian Abrahams will now make a change.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're not going to be seeing Robbie Simpson today, because Kyle Edwards is coming on for Exeter. Hiram Boateng is the man that he's going to replace, and someone I know well from his days at West Ham when he came from the youth team, Kyle Reid, as Sean was saying, he's replacing Jordan Shipley. Shipley had a good afternoon. As you say, fresh legs, skillful legs. Coventry maybe want more than three.
So one of the Coventry goal scorers off, replaced by Kyle Reid. Good man to be able to bring off the bench. A player who spent the first half of the season on loan at Colchester. Now with Premier League experience with both the Hammers and Palace. And Kyle Edwards, the young winger on loan from West Brom to Exeter. He's scored the one goal for them so far. It could be his last appearance for the club. He comes on and will play on the left-hand side of midfield, man.
Yeah, no, Sean and I are just perplexed that we haven't seen Robbie Simpson make his way onto the pitch. We can only assume that he's been named in the matchday squad today, but he's carrying an injury, because if he was fit, or 60-70% fit, Sean, you'd put him on the bench, wouldn't you, if you were manager?
Yeah, absolutely, especially we've been playing in the previous game. You know, it doesn't really make sense up here, but listen, you don't know what's took place throughout the week. You don't know what the conversations have taken place at Exeter, so you have to trust the manager, of course. You know, he knows his players, and you know, he's made that call, but no Robbie Simpson today.
It's the hordes from the West Midlands who are cheering the louder. Coventry 3-0 up with 16 minutes to go. Ball is fired inside the Coventry penalty area. Substitute Edwards goes up for it. It's brought down by Jayden Stockley. Right-footed shot from Edwards from the edge of the penalty area is blocked, and then James slides in. A rumbustious challenge in the midfield on Reid. But he took the ball, as well as possibly just catching the man. It's got out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Coventry left. Well, Coventry will be bucking history. Only one of the last 32 sides who failed to win a first leg at home in the League Two playoff semi-final. Remember, Coventry held at home by Notts County, have then gone on to win promotion. That was Bradford 5 years ago, but that is something that Coventry are about to achieve. 16 minutes to go, they lead 3-0. Coventry with a throw in their own left-back position, surrender possession. It's a throw to Exeter now, 20 yards inside the Coventry City half. Harley turning into and then quickly away from trouble, down to the left-hand touchline for Edwards, and Edwards towards the edge of the box, onto his right foot. Kyle Edwards laying it off towards the edge of the penalty area. Right footed shot from distance, excellent save from Burge. It was Harley that met it really sweetly from 25 yards out, and Burge, who hasn't had too much to do, just stopped it creeping in off his post and has put it wide for a corner. Corner which will be taken by James. Exeter in a hurry to get on with things here. Jay stands in front of the goalkeeper for nuisance value. 5 come forward to attack it. Stockley inevitably the target. It's clear. Returned by Moore Taylor, but not particularly far. Exeter able to regain possession with Harley, who'd covered back some 20 yards inside his own half. Coventry work it forward again. Boateng. Edwards, I beg your pardon, going up for it in the midfield but losing out. Now Coventry can bring it forward here with Bayliss. Bayliss just slipping it off to his right-hand side for Clark Harris. Left-footed ball through the midfield, picks out Kelly. Kyle Reid peels straight away out towards the left-hand touchline. An opportunity for him to run on the left-hand side of the box. He's played it inside the penalty area, but it's half cleared before he gets to Clark Harris. Exeter then can bring it under control and work it forward towards halfway. Jay chases after it, slides it forward towards Edwards, and Edwards now takes on the first Coventry player. Half beat Doyle, but then turns away and gets it back towards Ryan Harley in the midfield. Harley out towards the right hand side. Coventry 3, Exeter 0 here on TalkSport 2. Now Taylor tries his luck from the edge of the penalty area. Coventry again so disciplined, bodies back in the lines of 4, able to get the ball away. Grimmer makes a run forward down the Coventry right, the score of a spectacular third goal. Back towards Doyle. Can't be too far away from another man of the match performance. Bayliss lays it out towards the Coventry left hand side, and Stokes will bring it forward here for the Sky Blues. McNulty makes his way towards the edge of the box. Out it goes towards Reed. Reed back into space for Kelly. Kelly urged to shoot, thinks better of it, just goes back behind square for Doyle. Doyle slows it down, waits for Grimmer to make his way forward. It's a little 1-2 between the pair of them, and now Doyle goes back through the midfield for Kelly.
And I think with two particular players for Coventry in there, right in the middle of the park, just sat there orchestrating this last 15 minutes what they've got to play. It's two really experienced players. I think you're right, Jim, Doyle's been outstanding. He's been outstanding. He's led from the front, you know, he's took responsibility for his team here this afternoon. Just like we witnessed yesterday with Wood for Rotherham, you know, a captain's performance, and that's what we've witnessed.
Kyle Reid on the left-hand touchline for Coventry. The Olays are out from the Sky Blues supporters. Here's Bayliss trying to find a way inside the penalty area. He's managed it, and Pym has done enough to get it away and out for a corner. A little shot from Bayliss, and might just have taken deflection. It did. Actually, I say he's done enough. That's an outstanding save. He reacted well. Got his left foot to it to flick it round the corner of the post and out for a corner.
Just shows you the confidence that Coventry are playing with, Jim. Bayliss picks the ball up just outside the box, takes on 3 Exeter defenders, gets a wonderful shot off, and all for an absolutely magnificent save. It would have been 4-0.
In comes the corner from Reid. Heads go up for it. Willis looking for a second, can't quite get the touch that he wanted, and just comes off the top of his head. He took another touch off an Exeter player on the way through for a Coventry throw on the left-hand side. Well, they won the FA Cup here in 1987 at the old stadium. They won the Checkatrade Trophy here last season, beating Oxford in the final. And now Coventry set to win promotion as well. 11 minutes. It would be a meteoric collapse if they blew it from here. They have a throw. Kelly will go across the takeover on the left-hand touchline. Into the feet of Reid. Back it goes again for Stokes. Back towards the edge of the penalty area, and then the offside flag is raised. It's a free kick which will be taken by Exeter in the right back position. 11 to go, Coventry 3, Exeter 0.
Listen, I know we stood here and we witnessed a real dominant display by Coventry, but I did speak yesterday, Jim, in terms of two teams entering just an unbelievable set of events for what this game brings. And what we've witnessed is two teams that haven't turned up, with two teams whose managers are both possibly going to be leaving. You need to be on it constantly, all together. I don't think I've witnessed that this afternoon.
Grimmer plays it forward through the midfield. Of course, plenty of speculation. This is going to be Paul Tisdale's last game in charge, that irrespective of the result today is going to Milton Keynes. Reid lays the ball out to the left-hand touchline, and then will chase and pick up the second ball from Stokes and then win another throw. Excellent match management here from Coventry, just running the clock down, not doing too much with it. They don't need to.
No, that game management is needed at this specific moment of time, because not only does it slow the game down, but it saps any hope that Exeter have of trying to get back in this game. We know there's just over 10 minutes left of normal time, but Coventry are just managing this game so well with the passage of play where they're putting the passes together confidently. Exeter can't get near the ball. If Coventry have it, Exeter can't score.
Burge clears, long ball forward which Exeter will try and head away. They can't, and Reid will chase after. It's just gone out for a throw, which will take it on the Exeter City right, with the side finishing 6th in League 2, have only won promotion twice in 27 years, but Coventry are set to make that 3. The finished below Exeter in the regular league season, 5 points adrift of them. But they're going to win promotion when it matters, and the local lad Ponticelli is going to be coming on for them in a moment, the Sky Blues. Here's Edwards towards the edge of the penalty area. Matt J, that was close. That was close. Right hand of Lee Burge able to divert it away. In fact, I think he's hit the post rather than the goalkeeper's hand, and that's as close as Exeter have come.
Absolutely, and that's where this system allows you to have your creative players on the inside part of the pitch, and it was quite a fantastic little shot there by Matt J, and I think Burgess had it covered. I think he would have saved it, but it gave them a little bit of hope, but hope is running out for this team now, and just like I've said earlier on, I've been really impressed with the substitutes. Not only are they going to win this game by this scoreline, or more so suggest, they're making another attack-minded substitute. I think that's been brilliant for Mark Robbins.
Danny and Abrahams have got the details of it.
Yeah, I also think that Mark Robbins is giving people a game now as well on the Wembley pitch. Ponticelli coming on. Mark McNulty's run his heart out for 80 minutes, and he's the man being replaced.
Well, what a season Mark McNulty has had. He finishes on 28 goals. It's the most that any Coventry player has scored since 1964, when George Hudson scored 28 goals in a season. Sky Blues went up that year, and they're going up this year as well. 8 to go. And Ponticelli, another player, born and bred in Coventry. This will mean so much for him. The player has had an excellent breakthrough season. Bayliss plays it out towards Ponticelli on the right-hand touchline. An opportunity for him to try and run at Moore Taylor, who stood his ground well. Now playing on the left of the three centre-halves for Exeter, and he's been able to clear. Forward towards Stockley. As Stockley tries to bring the ball down, he's got a little bit of support, but he went alone, and all he's done is hit that 20 rows back into the Exeter fans behind Burge's goal.
I think that there, Jim, in a 10-second passage of play shows you just how frustrated that man Jayden Stockley has been today. He could have passed the ball wide, chose to shoot probably from an angle or from an area of the pitch where he couldn't score, and it's blown 30 yards over, and what that does is that just gives Coventry the opportunity to slow the game down again, to get all of their players set up, and for the goalkeeper to hit Clark Harris.
Well, only twice before has a side lost back-to-back playoff finals. It's going to be a tough one for Exeter to take. It's going to be a crucial summer for them if they're going to have to find and recruit a new manager. Got to get it right. Steve Perryman, the director of football, retiring as well, and clearly a man who's been a mainstay of the club for so long and a massive influence. It'll be interesting to see which of the players depart St James Park as well. I just feel, or there is a feeling, this is kind of the end of the road for Exeter, reaching a massive crossroads. Coventry, they've hit rock bottom in the recent past, now very much on the way up. In fact, the camera is just panning to Ethan Ampadu, who's here today, former Exeter player, of course, and part of Exeter Academy, which has done so much, produced talent like Ethan Ampadu, Ollie Watkins, George Friend a few years ago as well, the current Middlesbrough fullback. We've got a number of academy products in this side today, and that certainly is a one major positive for Exeter's future. But today, positives have been few and far between. 3-0, Coventry deserving to go up.
Well, you mentioned it, regardless of what the outcome is this afternoon, you know, there's one special mention has to go to this Exeter City manager, and that's Paul Tisdale, because them players wouldn't have been developed, you know, the academy wouldn't have been developed, and he's given the platform to kick on this club.
It could get worse before it gets better, because Ponticelli has got possession. He's running towards the edge of the penalty area, just trying to slip it into the feet of Kyle Reid. They're at cross purposes, and Exeter can bring it away with Harley. 3-0 to Coventry, who have been brilliant in this second half, scoring goals with Willis, Shipley and Grimmer in the first half of this second half to cement their promotion. Harley will bring it forward. 5 minutes to go here on TalkSport 2. And Harley turns it forward again for Matt J, who's hit the post for Exeter in their best chance. His ball down the right-hand side of the penalty area will be cleared effectively by Stokes. He's just played it into James and out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Lee Burge for Coventry. Coventry 3, Exeter 0 with 4 minutes to go, Matt.
No, I echo there what Sean just said about the manager, Paul Tisdale, having been at the football club for so long. He's developed a lot of players. I think he's developed the culture of the football club, brought them into the Football League, obviously, and has been hugely successful there. I mean, I think that Exeter reaching the playoff final for the second year in a row is huge testament to him and his coaching staff.
Ponticelli chases a ball that's played forward. Clark Harris can't find him, and Exeter working away again down towards the left-hand touchline. Jay has got it. Mark McNulty has been awarded the man of the match. Jay gives it away to Kyle Reid. Now Reid will venture forward over halfway. Clark Harris ahead of him. Ponticelli making up ground unmarked on the Coventry right if Reid can get it away, but wily old Fox just using his experience to take it down towards the corner flag, where ultimately he wasn't able to buy a throw. He just tried to play it into the nearest Exeter defender. It's come off Sweeney and then taken a little double ricochet back off Reid and gone out for an Exeter throw. 3 minutes to go. 3-0 to Coventry. Harley in the midfield. Right-footed ball clipped forward. Stockley will go up for it. He's beaten by Willis. Brought down on the right-hand side by Bayliss. Bayliss just clipping it past the Exeter back line into space. And Johnson Clark Harris will go and pick up possession. He'll take it towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's opened up for him. He's 25 yards out. He's gone for a curler, but that was no Jack Grimmer shot. It's just drifted into the hoardings behind the goal and out for a goal kick.
And you can see the absolute, they can see the faces on these. I feel for them, Jim. When you turn up an arena like this, you want to give everything. You want to come off that pitch with no regrets, and I'm sure these Exeter City players will have them regrets, unfortunately. To lose 3-0 and not really throw a punch at your opposition it's a big pill to swallow.
Yeah, no, I agree, Sean. I think that we can never question, and you'd never sit here and question the effort from the Exeter players.
Absolutely not.
But we can question the fact that they haven't really, to me, looks like taken the shackles off often enough within this game, because the game plan was a bit cagey. We've spoken about the lack of support up to Stockley, but I just think it's overall Coventry have been so dominant in this second half and scored 2 absolute world-class goals, and I don't use that word very often, but the players that have scored them weren't expected to do that either, so I just think it's the right result for me at this precise moment in time.
Exeter will bring it forward. A chance with Edwards on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Stockley waits in the middle. Edwards goes for goal and scores. Exeter on the board in the 89th minute. I'm sure it will be no more than a consolation goal, but a positive for the Grecians to take back to the West Country. And it was a well-taken goal from Kyle Edwards, only the second of his career, working it onto his right foot and angling one past Burge into the bottom right-hand corner. Coventry 3, Exeter 1.
And as a consolation, and that's what it probably looks like at this moment in time, it's come from a young player who's been given his chance, obviously come on in favour of one of the more senior pros, and to be fair to young Edwards, he's shown a lot of ability there and killed in another good goal. We've seen some fine goals here this afternoon.
No, we have, and again, I just can't speak highly enough of League 2 football, and the fact that not only is there the effort, there's the quality to match that, and the goals that have been on show here today have been fantastic, as we just witnessed Coventry again managing the game. I think it may be Kelly who's showing a little bit of cramp, and his captain Doyle is trying to help him out, but it just slows the game down again, and any momentum that Exeter were trying to build up has now, in Coventry's favour, been sapped out of them.
Well, we understand there are going to be 4 additional minutes to be played. That decision was made a couple of minutes ago. Haven't seen any action in the last 60 seconds, and as a consequence it does go up to 5. Cynically, I wondered whether it would, but it has done. Here's Clark Harris on the right-hand side of the penalty area. In 5 minutes of stoppage time. Exeter need to score twice. If they would have scored 1 in the next couple of minutes, it doesn't half set up an interesting finale. The Grecians will bring it forward with James slipping it through the midfield for Jake Taylor. High ball fall from him. Cleared relatively easily from Story, who's playing up front now with Stockley as an emergency striker. Coventry win it back and bring it forward. Ponticelli wanted the ball to be played forward early. Kelly, using his experience, just maintained possession. Let him make his run offside, then let him check back and make another run onside. It's gone back for Grimmer, whose ball forward misses Clark Harris. And Exeter will bowl it out from the back. First of the 5 minutes of stoppage time have elapsed. Exeter bring it forward again with a long ball forward. Story going up for it. Can't find Stockley. Loose ball breaks away from Doyle in the midfield, and Exeter have it once more. Grecian support urging their side on here. Ball played forward. Jay goes up for it. It's come off the top of his head and gone out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Burge. 3-1 Coventry lead with 90 seconds of stoppage time having elapsed here on TalkSport 2.
And a great performance by them as well, Jim. You know, I know they've conceded the goal in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but they fully deserve this win. They've travelled in incredible numbers. The support that we've seen by these Coventry City fans have been next to remarkable. They've had such a journey over recent years, so to find themselves back in League One is testament to them sticking together as a group of fans.
You can understand that there are tears in the eyes of supporters from both teams. Exeter will work the ball forward. Moore Taylor takes a bounce inside the penalty area. Story perhaps a little bit slow to react to an awkward bounce for Hyam. Burge can come out and make a comfortable save. 2 minutes of stoppage time gone, 3 to go. Burge bounces the ball a couple of times inside the penalty area, maybe just carries it outside the box before whacking it forward left-footed upfield. It's headed away by Moore Taylor, the Exeter captain, who in positive visualization exercises and dreams will have thought about lifting the trophy, but it's not to be for the Exeter captain seemingly. Stockley heads it on. Story can't get there, goes through to his goalkeeper Burge, who is in no hurry to get back to his feet, having made a diving save round the penalty spot, and he'll just wait for players from his side to push forward upfield before restarting play. 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. Coventry 3, Exeter 1. One goalkeeper passes it to the other. Pym handles it right hand side of the area, bowls it out for Moore Taylor. Moore Taylor's long left-footed ball forward, punted towards Story, who's flicked it on, looking for Stockley, easily cleared by Kelly, brought under control in the midfield by Harley. Gets the ball from Tilson and then fires it forward over the head of Grimmer, brought down by Moxey. Oh, that was close. Moxey just laying it off for Stockley inside the penalty area, and he's dragged the right-footed shot only a fraction wide of Burgess near post, and that was probably only 6-9 inches away from making it 3-2.
From our angle, Jim, that looked as if his first touch was perfect to set it onto his chest, onto his right foot, and a half volley from around 14 yards. He caught it ever so well, but just pulled it wide of the post. If that would have gone in, we'd have had a grandstand finish. But this result at the moment as it stands is nothing more than Coventry have deserved based on their 90-minute performance.
Moore Taylor punts it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Stockley again cranes the neck muscles to try and turn it on. Kelly knocks it away. 40 seconds of the 5 additional minutes to go. Coventry 3, Exeter 1 here on TalkSport 2. The last domestic fixture of the season. Manu are back at Wembley on Saturday over on TalkSport for England's first warm-up game ahead of the World Cup against Nigeria. Exeter get the ball back from a steward over on the far touchline and take a throw. Right-footed ball whipped inside the penalty area looking for Jay. It's cleared by Stokes. Only about 20 seconds remain. Another long throw to be launched inside that Coventry penalty area. Story tries to flick it on. It's knocked away high up in the air by Ponticelli. Coventry will chase after it and will get there first, and Bayliss with a little header down, and Ponticelli will take on the first Exeter defender, can't beat a second. Moore Taylor works it forward. Jay picks it up in the midfield and goes back for Harley. The 5 minutes are up, and Coventry are up as well. Promoted to League One their first promotion since 1967. What a job they have done in their first ever playoff campaign, seeing off Notts County in the semis and beating Exeter comprehensively here in the Wembley sunshine today. 3 goals in a 20-minute spell from Willis, Shipley and Grimmer. It's been a long journey for the Sky Blues. So many more downs than ups over the last 15-20 years or so, but this is a day that travelling 37,000 support will never forget. Comprehensively winning the League 2 playoff final, and they are up back at the first attempt.